Furious 7, more like it's furiously hot right now as we record this podcast, and I wish it was like 7 degrees lower, maybe. I don't know.
Really? Only 7 whole degrees?
Holy 7.
How about 7 times 3? Let's make it 21.
I'm checking
cooler.
Dark Sky right now, and it says it's 88.
Yeah,
I'm
so
down
we can.
with it. No, 81. No, that's too hot still.
It's hot. You know what else is hot? This podcast and this movie. What is this podcast, you might be asking? You're not asking that because you're a regular listener and you love this show. But in case you're not, this podcast is You Gotta Watch It. It's a podcast about movies, talking about movies where we watch movies that one or more of us have never seen for the first time. The kind of movies that when you tell someone you haven't seen them, they say, dude, you gotta watch that. My name is Heath Isley. With me, as always, are my two effervescent, gonna go with a big word today, co-hosts. The podcaster formerly known as Eve Cheney, Eve Chen.
Hello.
A round of applause.
Good evening, everyone.
And of course, producer Paul, podcast Paul, Paul Salad Bar, the new Paul Walker, Paul Salazar slither into those DMs, Mr. Paul Salazar in the flesh.
Hey everyone, how you doing? Hope you're doing well.
Except Paul Walker is fucking dead.
No!
And he's
my bad. Did I just spoil the movie?
That's
the movie that
he
we
doesn't
already
die
watched.
in the movie. He doesn't
No.
die for filming. He dies for being a freak.
No, we can't speak ill of the dead. Rest in peace, Paul Walker. Can we get a sad... Paul, do you have a sad sound on your board?
I'm not talking. Oh my god.
I got the perfect
Wait,
one.
just to be clear, I'm not talking shit about
There we
Paul
go.
Walker. I've just it's just factual. He did.
Did he date his cousin that's like, or like someone's
Bruh, wait.
something weird going on? No, there's a weird
He
exchange.
dated like a 17-year-old girl.
17-year-old.
We talked about that.
That is, that's enough to.
That being
grind
said,
my gear.
you know what? Dating a 17-year-old girl is not a crime worthy of death, so I'm not gonna wish him like.
Oh yeah, it is.
No.
Oh my god.
No.
I mean, death as in death of your career, cancellation. Maybe.
I mean, like literal death in the death in terms of like the fact that he literally died. I don't want to.
Well, I mean, he wasn't sentenced to death because of it, but he just happened to also die.
No, I'm just not gonna be like, yeah, good job. That we're starting this off on a fucking horrible note. By the way, right out of the gate, we're just like. Paul Walker fucking dead.
I mean,
God.
That's it. That's
Flash.
That's perfect. That's probably what he sounded like when he died.
he's screaming
as he fucking crashed his car into the pole or whatever. Yeah, it was just that. There we go.
It's reincarnated into a little bullfrog.
In case you haven't noticed by the fact that we're talking about a dead Mr. Paul Walker. We are discussing the film Furious 7, the 7th film in the Fast and the Furious franchise, the biggest film in the Fast and the Furious franchise, the first film in the franchise since Too Fast, Too Furious, all the way back in the early 2000s, not be directed by Justin Lin. We got James Wan in the director's chair for this one. A little bit of a change. And we got all the big stars that you're looking for. We got Vin Diesel, we got the ghost of Paul Walker, we got The Rock, we got Michelle Rodriguez, we got Tyrese, we got Ludacris, we got Jordana Brewster, and we got some new faces. We got Jason Statham, we got Kurt Russell, and we got some celebrity cameos that I'm going to talk about as we reach their point in the movie. But just starting off. You guys hadn't seen this one either, right? Eve, I remember you telling me that you had only seen like, what, 5 and 6?
Yeah, but you know, when this movie came out, there were a lot of, whatchamacallem, like video clips of the end scene. So like I'd seen that end scene like 100 times over because it was all over the internet.
That was a big scene. And then like the scene of them driving the car through the buildings, that was everywhere because that was in the trailer. Because I didn't see this movie in theaters. I didn't see this movie until like 2 years later. I remember those because, yeah, like you're saying, those were big publicized scenes. Paul, you hadn't seen this movie before now, had you?
Dude, I literally only seen one, and
that's right. You're
I haven't seen any of them. Y'all are trying to convince me the most on this season, so yeah.
I hope you liked this one. I think this is a good one. This is probably like.
Oh yeah, like each movie, I'm like, all right, I'm with it. I think I transitioned to the La Familia during the iguana scene. The beautiful
we're not
Okay,
we're not gonna fucking talk about the iguana again.
No, why not?
I don't know how you guys feel, but rewatching this one, I already knew that this was in the upper echelon of the Fast franchise for me. But rewatching this one, I think it might be tied for my favorite. I like it for different reasons than I like number 5. But I do think they're like both neck and neck as to which one is the best in this series. What do you guys think?
Share your thoughts, Heath.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
What are those
Paul?
thoughts saying? I got the music. Wait, is that not the music?
Wait, why is it so intense? It's just his opinion.
Yeah, I'm just... Paul,
What's the mood of your opinions?
we just said positive. We both like this movie.
Oh.
Paul's too busy thinking about the iguana. I don't think he knows what's going on right now.
The iguana? You want to talk about the iguana?
Oh, no, we don't want to talk about the fucking iguana.
So the iguana is an elephant.
No, the iguana, there's no fucking iguanas.
The iguana represents the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
There's no iguana. Paul, did you like this movie? Did you like just starting off? No details, just right out the gate. Did you like it? Did you like it as much as me and Eve liked it?
The thing is, the other movies were crisp appreciation. I was like, I am furiously enjoying it. I furiously favor it so far, just because production value, acting wise, script wise, it was driven a lot better. James Wan knows what he's doing. It drives the point.
Okay.
And
keep going.
It's the Cadillac converter of the series and saga that is now FN. And I could see why they continued and will never stop making these movies. Definitely set it up a lot better.
Well, they're saying they're going to stop after number 11 with the main one. They're saying
they're lying.
11.
That was a lot of really good puns.
I agree. They are probably lying. You are correct. But I'm just saying
productions. Yeah, like they're gonna make video games. They're gonna make merch. They're gonna make comic books. They already did, but they're gonna make a book where you go into the book and it drives you around. It's just like
there's comic books.
What the fuck do you mean?
Comic books.
Hold on. What do you mean a book that'll drive you around?
A book that'll drive you around. You know
what the fuck are you talking about?
It's kind of like the Magic Treehouse. Like it's a book. It's just like it just drives you around.
Are you saying the theme of the story of the book is like it's a magic car that drives you around? Are you saying like
no.
Are you saying the reader will enter the world of the book?
Yes, that's exactly like.
Okay, I don't
like.
Well, wait.
I said, Paul, I think you should stop
Hang on.
doing shrooms before you hop on here.
If we're going to talk about the Magic Treehouse, like that's not what happened.
Yes, it is. They go inside the book and then it's like you end up in this magical place.
Paul, they don't go inside books. They have a magic tree house. It's in the fucking name.
Oh wait, the Magic Tree House is a book. Wait,
no.
Okay,
hang on. Okay, yeah. So the Magic Tree House,
right.
it is a series of books, right? But like
books,
they read a book and then the Magic Tree House transports them to that world. It doesn't transport them in the book.
Ready for this?
It
Metaphorically,
it puts them in like
is the Magic Tree House.
No,
the book, because. Wait, sorry, I stopped the music. Because the book is made of trees. Get it?
Oh my God,
tree house
please.
In the book, literal and metaphorically, getting transported.
Well, I mean, it's not the same tree, Paul.
Oh.
What the fuck are you talking about?
So is this a tree from like, there's a tree from Canada and a tree from like Uganda or something?
They're different trees.
Uganda?
They're not fucking connected.
Are you saying
it's all the trees from the world, from the earth?
But they're not all the same, Paul. They're different trees.
We're all going on.
It's like, are you trying to be prejudiced against trees?
No one's being prejudiced against trees. It's factual. They're different trees.
But it's like we're different. It's like saying we're different humans. They're like, yeah, I get it, but we're all humans still, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we're the same person. You and I have independent thoughts and experiences.
Speciesism, species. So this movie is pretty good.
It's a good movie.
Okay, what? Yeah,
good.
Let's talk about the fucking movie and not about fucking trees. What the fuck is going on right now? Yeah, this movie is pretty good. So I don't know what to fucking say after that, man. So yeah, Furious 7. If you remember from the last one, we our Furious boys and gals, they faced off against Mr. Owen Shaw, who was a big bad British guy who was doing some crimes. Letty had lost her memory, but she's back in love with Dom. And they got amnesty, and they're all back in LA. But we got left on a cliffhanger. Han is dead.
Rest
gets
in peace.
killed.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
I
Han.
was-
Hashtag justice.
Well, yes, R.I.P. Han, but also rest in peace, Brazilian cop lady. We never see her again.
What? She's in this movie.
It's pretty. She dies.
She's in this movie.
What?
She's in this movie.
More.
What?
200 times. More.
Are you saying that you didn't know that she was in this movie?
Wait.
She's in the
Brazilian
movie.
cop. Wait, but she.
I
She doesn't
I've
die
made
in
a-
this movie.
She doesn't
I made
die.
a tragic mistake.
She's in the movie. She's in it like right in the beginning.
Oh
I
no!
made a tragic mistake.
She's in the
the
movie.
tragedy.
All right, so I'm gonna continue with the plot, and I'll tell you when she's in the movie.
But race wars organizer.
No, she's not in at Race Wars. What the fuck?
She's in the race wars. 'Cause
No.
she's good. She's from a different. She's Brazil.
Well, she is into race wars, but that's just because she's racist, and she's into a different kind of race war. You know.
Got it.
Oh, yikes.
I'm not actually sure. The Brazilian lady in Fast and the Furious voted for noted right wing Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro. That's what I'm gonna say. I don't know if that's true. It's probably not true. She's probably not even Brazilian. I'm just gonna put that into the ether to shit on this actress who I don't even know at all and hasn't done anything wrong.
Exactly.
Anyways, to proceed with the plot of the movie Furious 7.
Yes, please.
Okay. So our Furious boys are back, but they got a guy coming for him, and his name is Deckard Shaw. They're living their lives. They're all doing their own thing. Our main friends are back in LA. Brian, he's getting used to being a dad. He's driving his kid to school. And there's a little gag when he's driving his kid to school. It like cuts to him, and he's going fast. It looks like he's about to race, but actually, nope. He's just pulling up to drop his kid off, and I thought that was a fun gag.
Sweet.
That was pretty cute.
Yeah, well, it was a cute gag. It was a cute gag. I like that.
It's a cute one.
Dom's living his life. They're all living their life. He's trying to help Letty get his thing, get her memory back. Meanwhile,
Her memory
friend-
back like an android.
trying to factory reset or whatever. Meanwhile, our friend Hobbs is diligently doing some paperwork at the DSS office in Los Angeles. And he's fucking sweating up a storm while he does paperwork, which is another good gag. This movie has lots of funny jokes. This is a funny movie.
It's like almost like they're in their midlife crisis or they're like settled down, but you're like, ha, just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's lots of like, oh, life is so boring, huh? But I know I like when we see Hobbs in this movie, and like the first shot of him is he's like fucking aggressively doing paperwork like in his office. And he's doing paperwork so fucking hard that he's like sweating. Like he's got a towel wrapped. He's wiping sweat away from his fucking forehead like he's like an Olympic runner.
I'm literally
constantly sweaty boy.
I mean, we have the LA heat, you know, like we're experiencing right now. Maybe it was just really hot that day, and the diplomatic security services can't spring for AC in their building. But yeah, he's wiping away sweat,
trash.
and he's wiping.
Like every shot we have of him is sweaty.
No, exactly. The Rock's thing is being
greased him up.
He's a sweaty, wet, disgusting, oily man.
Oh my god!
Do you think that
chill.
but before every shot they just have a spray bottle ready to just like spritz him down and make sure he has beads of water on him at all times?
Absolutely. You know, they definitely they wetten him up. They moisten him.
Yeah. Moistened him.
If you look close in the credits, like one of the credits, like low down in the credits, is like it says like rock moistener. Like there's a guy on set. Like, he just carries a spray bottle.
Sculptor.
Like when you're like a you're like a fucking you know, like when you have a cat, like they spray him like that with a little bottle.
Oh yeah.
Give him a spritz.
So it's a rock trainer.
Yeah, but no, but yeah, but they're doing
they
it.
do it to make him look sweaty.
Yeah.
But like they also have to oil him up so that when they spray it, it like collects, you know?
Yeah, well, that actually is I don't know if The Rock has experienced that specifically, but like oilers are a thing. Like at like bodybuilding competitions, they have guys who have to oil up the beefcakes. I think that was an episode of It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, I have a coworker of mine who's a bodybuilder, and she did several like competitions, and that was part of her experience.
She got oiled up,
beefed, oiled.
Yeah, like before, anytime she was going to go on stage, like they would put baby oil on her.
I think that'd probably be a really cool job.
Oh, that's cute, baby.
Just constantly.
I would love to oil someone.
Just touching people.
Yeah, just oiling up beefcakes. That's like a top 5
And they like you hyped
horniest
them
job.
too. Oh, top 5 horny jobs.
Yeah,
Oh,
what's like
the intro?
Watch Mojo's top 10 horny jobs.
BuzzFeed needs to release an article.
What's a
about
nut
this.
like? It's
Oh my
like
God.
the bodybuilding oiler and like
That one.
anything gynecologist.
Nail tech, but gynecologist, nail tech for someone that has foot fetish.
Yeah, definitely like anything with feet.
What else?
Masseuse.
I really don't think that like a medical profession would be good if you had a kink, because then you
It
get
wouldn't.
to see all like the gross sides of it, you know?
Maybe your
Oh,
kink is being
right.
gross. Like maybe there's probably a
Yeah.
male gynecologist out there who gets really turned on by stinky vaginas.
They're most like he's like
But like
people that like
infected vagina?
No,
Yeah, like
like
he's
blue
like I
waffles,
want.
or-
He's like I'm a French person in the
Wait.
1800s, and by that I mean I want some bread. So give me all the yeast you got,
give me that
baby.
yeast you got.
Oh God.
That was
ew.
like,
Give me a
I love
packet of yeast.
You know, people are
No.
like, yo, grind for that bread. I'm like, you're for the yeast.
That's
brother.
right.
Exactly. I was thinking, you know how people have like demeaning kinks, like to get demeaned? That's just basically service industry jobs.
I'm sorry that I brought this up. Please move on.
Yeah. Do you
right.
think there's a person who like works in like fast food who like gets off
Yep.
being yelled at by Karen?
Me every day.
Damn, that's crazy. If you go to Paul's job, you should yell at him because it'll turn him on.
I'll be like,
He's trying to like, yeah, he's like
make your coffee.
got a huge boner while he's making your espresso. He's
They're
like
talking
hiding
about
it.
plants.
He's hiding it with like the coffee cup, like Austin Powers style.
Jesus. Like, whenever someone yells about their plants, I'm like, I didn't kill the plant. The plant's just dying because you didn't water it. Oh, we sell plants at our company.
Oh, that's an important. See, I didn't know what the
It's a
fuck you were
nursery.
talking about until
Sorry,
you
yeah,
said that.
it's a nurse. It's plants.
How did we get to
And nursery.
plants?
Yeah,
Sorry,
speaking of
anyway.
plants, I'm gonna plant the seed of us talking about the movie Furious 7.
That's way more sexual than like.
We have a
anything.
really hard time keeping on track,
Yeah.
don't we?
Why is
Speaking-
everything becoming
Speaking
sexually?
of planting seeds, Brian plants another seed in Mia. We learned that Mia is pregnant in the opening moments of this movie. But going back to what I was saying, The Rock, he's doing some paperwork. Brazilian lady shows up, whatever her name is, something with an E. Evelyn, Estelle,
Elena?
Elena. There
Evelyn.
we go. It's Elena.
Evelyn. Why
It's
is Evelyn
Elena.
too? It is Elena.
Elena's like,
Elena.
Elena's like, "What's up, Hans? Stop doing some work and leave." And he's like, he calls her woman. He says that a lot in the movie. He calls a lot of, I don't know. I think The Rock was just in a phase where he thought like calling women woman really aggressively was funny. So he says that a lot. Not really that funny.
Yeah,
But
it didn't age well. Yeah.
no, I mean, it's not offensive either. It's just not really like a funny joke. Just like, I don't know. Okay. You just,
No, yeah.
just call them by
Like the
their
joke
name.
itself.
Just call them by their
Call 'em by my
name,
name.
Mr. Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Call 'em-
Women don't have names.
That's right. That's right. We hate women on this podcast, folks.
Can confirm.
I
Misogynistic as fuck.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
This- You gotta watch it. Is actually the official podcast of r/red pill and r/incels.
Oh my god. It's just
Honestly,
what's
we've had nothing good to say about any female characters other than Mia and Letty.
Those
And,
are the only good female characters.
It's true.
It's not our
But
fault. These movies don't have
we-
good women.
We've had zero support for anyone else, like Ava Mendes, Gal Gadot, and fucking Brazilian cop lady. Like we've had
British
zero
cop.
support
Okay,
for these women.
two of them didn't do anything, and one of them is played by like a woman who like shot Palestinian children, probably. So,
It's true. I'm just noting a trend.
and then like the cameos we get in these movies are like Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey. Like,
I was gonna say
So-
we should change the podcast name to like movies, mansplaining, and manipulation.
we should change the podcast to "We Hate Women."
God. Oh, and we hate women. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Genderless folks only.
So, anyways, Elena is like, "Don't stop doing all that work," and Hobbs is like, "Shut up, bitch! I'm gonna keep doing all this work. I'm fucking stamping this shit out of these papers." He walks her out, then he goes
It's
back in,
stupid, yeah.
and it's fucking, it's Jason Statham, and he's like, "Oi, mate,
Do we applause that?
I'm downloading some of your files right here. It's me, Jason Statham." And The Rock is
he
like,
Australian?
no,
Dominic Toretto.
Nor.
Oh,
Yeah, he's-
no.
No, he's British, and he's like, "Oi, mate, I got your bloody files. I'm trying to look for who crippled me brother. And then The Rock is like, I'm going to kill your family. And then they have a big ass fucking fight sequence, and it looks fucking sick. This is my favorite action scene, I think, like in the entire franchise. Definitely in this movie.
Jason Statham is probably, I think he's the best villain in these movies.
He's like the only one that like his brother's like okay. Well, we haven't gotten to Charlize Theron, who is in the sequels, and of course Idris Elba, but like, yeah, he's definitely the best one. Not that it's like he has a lot of competition, but
I mean, okay, so Idris Elba was amazing, right? But he was in Hobbs and Shaw, and that's its own thing. Like, I know it's within the same universe, but like it's kind of its own thing.
Fair enough.
You're right.
So we get a cool ass fight, and right away, like this fight is super emblematic of the change in directors that we have in this one, because this fight is very much like James Wan style. Now, this is his first like big action movie that he had made. I'm a big fan of James Wan. I really liked Aquaman. I think he's a really talented guy.
That's great. Yeah.
But before this, he had only done horror movies, because he had done Saw, and then he had done the Conjuring movies. I think only the first one had come out, but he was probably working on 2, because 2 came out the year after this. And then he had done the Insidious. I think maybe Insidious.
Yes.
He did I think he did a couple of them. I know he did the
like
first one.
1, 2, yeah.
Yeah.
He did the interconnecting ones, yeah. Which were great, yeah.
So, and all those movies are super stylish, especially Saw. Saw is like super low budget, but it's like the transitions, like the editing in that movie is super weird, and it was out of necessity, because like they didn't have a lot of money like to fill out the shots, so they had to do weird editing tricks. But like, he's a very unique filmmaker. He has a very distinct visual style. It's not standout-ish. I mean, he's not like Wes Anderson or anything where like you see it and you're immediately like, oh well, this is fucking like. But no, he has a very distinct touch. More distinct, I would say, than Justin Lin. Not to disparage Justin Lin, because I think Justin Lin is a talented guy too, but he is just sort of, I don't know, more of like a workhorse guy. He's not. I don't think he comes in with the same
grinding.
Yeah, I don't think he comes in with the same vision that James Wan does.
And
I think it was a good idea to have to bring James Wan in here, just because he really brings, like I said, a nice style. But like, this fucking action sequence looks incredible. James Wan is doing that thing he does where he has like the wide angle lenses, and the camera is like spinning around 360 as they're fighting.
I love that.
Like, the camera's like fucking flinging everywhere and like following them as they're like spinning, and the camera's like spinning, and it's like going sideways with them. Like, it's super fucking inventive camera work that he's bringing like to the table here. I fucking love it.
Amazing creative choices.
He's very involved in directing wise, like with the movements and cinematography, whereas other directors, I feel like in the saga in general are more like, oh, you do your thing, we're independent entities. But I respect James Wan as being so hands-on with his production.
Yeah, he's definitely like the most distinct visual stylist that, I mean, you have John Singleton, who is of course like a well-known director who came on for part 2, but aside from him, and Justin Lin is like, these are his movies, but like I said, he's sort of more of a workhorse guy. Like, James Wan is the most, I think, brings the most distinct vision. And when I was thinking about James Wan being the director of this movie, I realized something, guys. Like, these movies, the Fast and the Furious movies, almost all of them have been directed by people of color. I think this is like the most people of color dominated franchise in terms of like in front of the camera and behind the camera, like in Hollywood.
I think so. Yeah, because
there's
like
number one.
Paul Walker's like
number 1 was directed by a white dude. I don't remember his name. It's the guy who did Triple X. Number 2 was of course directed by the late great John Singleton. 3 and 6 were directed by Justin Lin. This one was directed by James Wan. 8 is directed by F. Gary Gray. And then 9, 10, and 11 are all directed by Justin Lin. So it's only the first one in Hobbs and Shaw that were directed by white dudes. No women in there, unfortunately, but maybe for the female spinoff. But no, I just think that like good on this franchise for like having voices other than like generic white dudes, like, you know, front and center in their franchise, like very unique in Hollywood.
Did you just rattle off all of that off the top of your head?
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's really
Just
impressive.
thinking. It was.
Thank you. But no, like, it's super fucking sick. And they gave a lot of good directors like the opportunities to like come on here. And like I said, James Wan, not to keep beating a drum, but yeah, James Wan, this sequence looks great. The whole movie looks great. All the action is fucking sick in this movie. James Wan, good director.
James is my boy.
This fight, the actual, what happens in the fight, we talked about this on an earlier episode, but I believe the same thing pertains here. Because in number 5, on episode 5, we talked about the fight between Dom and Hobbs, and how like contractually, like they have a thing where neither of them is allowed to really win or lose the fight, so it has to end in sort of a stalemate.
Yeah.
Or like end with like some other event that's like outside of like their control. And I'm pretty sure
like
that
buildings
Jason
falling.
Statham has a similar thing, which is why this fight, like, they go tit for tat until it ends with a grenade. Because neither...
it's like literally debilitating. Like, that's a literal end-all be-all. Like, yeah, I'll blow up. You're done.
Because neither of them wants to be seen as, like, definitively losing in a fist fight. So I think it's in both of their contracts that just can't happen, which is super funny that, like, the 3, like, biggest guys in these movies, Jason Statham, The Rock, and Vin Diesel, all fucking have it, so they just can't lose a fight.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was about to mention that sounds oddly familiar from when The Rock and Dom fight for the first time.
Yeah, like it's the same thing. Like they go back and forth for like fucking 10 minutes. And like nobody wins.
I mean, you just put 2 meatheads together, 2 macho alpha meatheads, and like they're gonna squish.
Exactly.
They're just gonna what's the word? I don't know.
There we go. Another
he
thing.
was too busy thinking about iguana.
Another thing I wanted to comment on the scene that's funny. We see it for like a split second, I think, but when Deckard Shaw, Jason Statham, is looking up the information of our friends, our familia, he's looking up Han, and if you look on the screen, it fucking says that Han's name is Han Solo.
Oh my god. That's really good.
Which is fucking incredible. I love that so much. That's such a fun Easter egg. Shout out to my man Han Solo, the second coolest Han Solo of all time.
So when he was getting his license, it was literally it's probably gonna be like the same scene as Solo is like, what's your name for his license? He's like, I don't know. And then the DMV person's like, Han Solo.
But see, the nerd in me like realized that they kind of fucked it up because it's Han, and then it's like Seoul, like the city Seoul -O.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
it's spelled Seoul.
No, but like, and that's fine. Like, I get it because he's Korean, I think. But the gag doesn't really work because Koreans put their first name like last, so his real name is Solo Han.
Solo Han.
Which is still pretty cool.
That's kind of cool, but it's not as cool as Han Solo.
The reference is there, and we appreciate it.
That's true.
I don't want to appreciate it, but
yeah, fuck that. Fuck
the
Star Wars. Fuck them.
Yeah.
They didn't get it right. They didn't know anything. They fucking suck. Fuck James Wan.
Fuck Star Wars.
Yeah.
Toad.
Yeah. I don't.
That's a very strong opinion,
Unironically, fuck Star Wars. If anybody's listening to this and they like Star Wars, fuck you.
It's a strong truth.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm listening to you say fuck Star Wars. You're making me uneasy.
Fuck
we might
Star
have to
Wars.
fight. We might have to fucking fight outside
fuck
here.
Star Wars. It fucking sucks.
God damn.
Fast
Are you
and
for real?
Furious is
Tell me that
better.
you're not real. Tell me that you're not being serious.
I don't hate Star Wars, but at this point I'm so burnt out that I'm like fuck Star Wars. Like we don't need any more Star Wars. What we need is more Fast and the Furious.
Okay, I disagree. I think that we need more Star Wars, and we're getting more Star Wars.
That sounds so tiring. We should get way more. Yeah, no, that's so exhausting to think about.
We have Obi-Wan, and then we have Ahsoka. And we have Bad Batch currently airing right now.
So good.
Oh my god, please, Heath. This content is so good.
No, thank you.
Why?
I'll stick to like I'll stick to like the few Star Wars movies that I like, and I'll just ignore the rest of this shit. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it.
What?
I don't want to go on it. We're talking about a Fast. I don't want to go on it. We can talk about this off mic. I don't want to go on a fucking derail the conversation into being about Star Wars. But
Patreon episode of Heath talking shit about Star Wars.
Yeah.
I would love that.
so anyways, so he gets his information, throws a grenade. Hobbs is fucked up. He goes to the hospital. Oh, I want to mention one thing because I forgot the sequencing of this movie a little bit. Letty, we go to Race Wars for a second. We revisit Race Wars at the beginning of this movie. Dom takes Letty to Race Wars to remind her of her past. And it's not really that important to the movie. I mean, like her trying to remember her past is important, but the Race Wars
going to a rodeo.
But
yeah,
there's one moment I want to talk about because there's a big cameo here when they go to Race Wars. Did you write it down? Paul, do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh my God.
Paul? It's the hottest rapper of whenever they were filming this movie, presumably 2014.
Oh my God.
Miss Iggy Azalea.
God, it's fucking our favorite. Where is she now? It
fucking
really
nowhere.
doesn't matter at all.
I think she's like getting ghosted by her baby daddy, Playboy Cardi. Did you see that thing
So
where like she went? Did you guys see that? Like she went on a rant talking about like because Playboy Cardi, like she is in a relationship with him. She might not be anymore, but she was, and they have a kid together. And she posted all this shit on Twitter. It was like when his album was coming out, and like. Apparently, he missed the birth of his child.
Oh, yeah.
To play PlayStation 5 with Lil Uzi Vert.
That's ideal. Like that.
But, yeah, no, she's in this movie. She's one of two cameos that, like, very much date this film. Like, it's a very 2015 cameo. Like, this person who was, like, fucking a monumental star for, like, a single minute in this period of time and then immediately flamed out and literally no one cares about. And she's in the movie, and that's really funny. And
rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Iggy Azalea's career. But anyways, back to the plot in sequential order. So Hobbs gets fucked up, and then cut to Dom and Mia and fucking Brian. They're taking baby Brian, Jack, to school. They're about to take him to school. He's in the minivan. Baby Jack throws his car. Brian says cars don't fly. A little foreshadowing for later. And then
or the F9 sorry.
No, for later in this movie, but also I guess F9.
Oh, yeah, that too.
But we get a package. Dom has a package on his doorstep from Tokyo. He's like, "Oh, silly Han." He's sending me some crazy imported vehicle products. But no, actually, it wasn't a vehicle product. It was a bomb because he gets a call on his phone from Deckard Shaw, who just fucking murked Han in Tokyo. And he goes, "Dominic Toretto, you don't know me, but you will," or something along those lines. And then the bomb blows up.
Cutscene, right?
Yeah, exactly. The last scene, the end credit scene from part 6. We get it from Dom's perspective. And the fucking bomb blows up the Fast House. The home of the Familia blows it up. It's gone.
I mean... Home is where the heart is.
Exactly.
The establishment, the office space is done.
Exactly.
Which, like, did they all live together?
Yeah, I think they did. Because, like, I'm pretty sure they lived together.
Affordable housing.
It's like all of them?
I don't think all of them, but, like...
Not the baby.
Letty and Dom and Mia and Brian and the baby, I think.
No, the baby slept outside.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They fucking kept it in the car.
Fuck these kids.
They gave it... It's like, yeah, they gave it a little,
it's in the
like...
trunk.
They gave it a bowl of water, and they put one of those notes, like that note with the dog. Like, don't worry, it has water, and its favorite music is playing.
Oh my God.
Please don't smash my window.
Exactly.
Please smash my windows and
please
to fight it.
Please don't smash the windows. He has water, and his favorite music is playing. But then Deckard Shaw was like, "No, I'm gonna smash the windows with me bomb.
The window.
With me bomb. I'm in me bomb's car."
With me bomb.
Boom, boom. That's crazy. I'm just saying words right now.
It'll make sense eventually. I feel like if we say enough words, we'll eventually write the next great American novel.
That's a monkey with the typewriters.
Yeah, that's us.
Exactly it. Exactly.
We're just monkeys with microphones.
Exactly.
True.
My brain is fried, so I do want to mention that before this we get a heartfelt scene with Dom and Letty, where Letty says she's gonna peace out and go do her own thing for a while. Doesn't really matter because she comes back like 20 minutes later. But she's trying to find herself. She's trying to find her memories. So So Letty's not there. But Dom is like, damn, this guy killed Han. I'm gonna go bring Han's body back. He tells Hobbs, oh, don't worry, I'm gonna fuck him up, but I gotta bring Han back first, and then we're gonna go get this guy. So he goes to Tokyo, and we cut to that sick ass song from the beginning of Tokyo Drift, and who do we see but fucking Sean Boswell and Twinkie. We are in Tokyo Drift, which now retroactively took place in the year fucking 2015, and
absolutely,
and fucking
I'm so disappointed he's back.
Dom has a conversation with Mr. Sean Boswell, talks to him, and Sean Boswell at this point is like 30. I mean, he looked like he was 30 when he made that movie when he was like 20, but now he's like actually 30, and he looks like he's 70.
He does not age well.
No, not at all.
White people don't age very well, so I guess it's fine.
Hey,
hi.
Vin Diesel, look at him. He's a fucking spitting image of handsomeness.
White? He's white?
Wait, is he white?
He's ethnically ambiguous. I think he's like...
Okay, I was going to say, like...
I think he's like Latino, but even still, he's like white Latino. Like, his skin is white.
True.
But he says like he's like a mix of stuff, but...
Oh, he's... Yeah, all right.
I think he's one of those guys who's like, bro, I'm like 5% Cherokee. I'm like 2% black.
I can see that.
But I'm pretty sure he's just like Italian.
I'm looking it up.
I'm an Italian. Dude, Italians don't exist though. They only
Italians are POC.
They invented the term to film Sopranos, so it's a very recent not religion.
That's
pseudo race.
A little known fact is that the country of Italy was actually created for the Sopranos. A lot of people don't know that. David Chase actually invented Italy so he could make his TV show.
Yeah, so I just want to note, I'm getting this information off of a website called ethniccelebs.com.
Oh my God, what a name.
So his mother is Scottish, English, German, Irish, and Australian. So white. And his biological father, it specifically notes biological father and not just father, which I think is a strange note.
Well, no, because I think he like had an adoptive dad. I remember something about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he didn't grow up with his biological dad.
Okay. So that makes more sense. So his biological father is African American, and possibly other.
So I'm thinking Vin Diesel's like 10% black.
I thought he was okay.
If his dad is black, then
possibly other. I'm thinking his dad is like maybe 25%. Or 50?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we don't know what his biological father looks like, but I would, if I had to guess, his father probably had some Hispanic mixed in there somehow.
So Vin Diesel's like a lot of everything that, you know what? Vin Diesel is best described as ethnically ambiguous.
He is, but he is very white.
Yeah, he has white skin, and his brother in Part 9 is played by John Cena, who is a full-on white guy, and his sister is just a full-on white lady, Jordana Brewster. At least in these movies, he is white. His character is white.
Wow. I thought he was intended to be like a Hispanic man this whole time.
No, he's definitely white.
Oh, it's a lie. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Toretto is Italian, I think, which is why I said I think Vin Diesel is Italian.
Is it? Oh my God.
But then again,
so he's just straight up. I thought he was like more of a person of color.
But then again, Italians are POC, so.
No.
I mean, like.
Yeah, they are. No, they are.
No.
Yeah, they are.
No.
Jokes aside.
No.
All jokes aside, they are.
They are.
Have they been oppressed? Yes.
Yeah,
in America?
No.
Yes.
Italians.
But are they people of color?
Okay, well,
no.
Paul, what do you say?
They're not colorful. They're vibrant. I wouldn't say they're saturated in culture. Oh, wait, that's problematic.
All right, well, Paul, you agree that they're POC, right?
I'm a white person, but I'm not white. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Italians are the same way. Italiano.
So they're not assimilated to their culture.
I don't know.
Because you go over there and you have the nana.
The Sopranos is about POC struggles in America.
Exactly. It's about struggles as a capitalist as well.
Yeah. Fuck, I don't know where we were at with this fucking movie.
Jesus Christ.
You just started going on a tangent about Vin Diesel's race.
So it was because like he got blown up.
Right.
No.
House got blown up.
the house, the familia,
La Casa de la
franchise. I mean,
Familia.
Casa de la Familia is exploded.
Exactly. So
Exploded.
then he goes to Han, and Sean Boswell's like, well, if you what are you gonna do if you find the guy who killed Han? And then Vin Diesel's like,
So what he sounds like.
That's what he sounds like.
yeah, he sounds like this. I'm a good old Southern boy.
He's been in Japan for like 20 plus years and he still sounds like that.
He just looks like he's been in Japan. Technically, he's only been in Japan for like 2 months, I think.
Oh shit!
Has it really?
Because this happens right at the end of Tokyo Drift.
Oh, fuck. Okay. So he ages
good.
20 years in 2 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bringing me back to my point that white people don't age very well.
That's right. Unfortunately. So anyways, so yeah, then he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go get that guy or whatever.
And then he go gets the guy.
Yeah, yeah. Then he goes.
He gets him. All right.
Yeah. So Mia's pregnant again. We learn about Mia's pregnancy or whatever. I think we learned about that before. I put that in my notes because I wanted to highlight, like, in the first 30 minutes of this movie, there's like 4 like very sincere scenes of just like 2 characters like very like lovingly like talking to each other about like their lives, and there's like not a hint of like irony or like winking to the audience about it. And like we've talked about this in previous episodes, but like this movie I really picked up on it because there's like so many scenes, and I think it's amplified by the fact that Paul Walker passed, of course, but like there's so many moments of just like genuine love, which you don't see in any blockbuster now. Like every other big movie is like so averse. I'm gonna be like, there's very few moments of like genuine emotion in like the Marvel movies. Not to say that those characters don't like, but like even in like the most emotional ones, like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, where like those characters like really go through shit. Like in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, like Nebula and Gamora are like coming to terms with their abuse and their relationship as sisters. Everything is always undercut with like a joke. Like there's always a gag. You can't have 2 characters be sentimental to one another without there being a gag behind it. But in this, there's never a gag. There's never a joke that undercuts like Dom and Mia talking about like, Brian and Mia talking about like Brian, you know, struggling as a father or whatever, like her worrying that Brian doesn't like being a father. There's never a joke that undercuts Dom and Letty's like moments. Like it's all just very sincere and taken like with the utmost seriousness, which I really appreciate. It's refreshing.
But it kind of makes these movies their own, almost their own genre, right? Because in some parts they really don't take themselves all that seriously, like physics and how shit works.
Yeah.
But
Yep. They
right.
Sorry, they don't.
But it's okay, Paul. Everything's fine.
Physics. It's got to work.
So, you know, like on that hand, like they really don't take themselves very seriously. But on the other hand, they have these really heartfelt moments and without a comedic relief. And so it allows the audience members to feel that discomfort and feel those emotions without, you know, having to cut in with something that breaks that tension.
Yeah. And I think that's the moment where all these like straight bro dudes started seeing therapy, because like, wow, I should feel something because Fast and Furious allows me to feel something beyond vroom vroom, cars go fast.
Yeah, that's like
That's just my opinion.
Well, that is like that is a unique, like an interesting thing about these movies. That's like on the surface, they are like the most macho, like sort of like stupid infantile thing. Like it's movies about like big dudes who punch each other and drive fast cars and shoot guns. But there is that underlying current of sincerity and like genuine love that exists in all these movies, and it's never played as a joke. It's never like, ugh, like what is this? This is stupid. Let's get back to the cars. Like, oh, what are you hugging me, bro? Like, get off me. Like, there's never a gag, and like, I don't like that's what elevates these movies and like makes them like special. And I think that's like the power of this franchise, and like definitely this one. Like, since this was the biggest movie, like we'll talk about this movie's success at the end, but like the sincerity of it and like the narrative of this movie specifically with what happened with Paul Walker, like elevated it beyond anything else, and like is why this is one of the biggest movies.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Because the target for these movies were, you know, the macho like engine heads or what, gearheads? Is that what they call themselves?
Yeah, it's like dude bros. Like these movies,
right? and that's the target audience for these movies. But
Right.
the way that I see it is kind of like feeding a dog a pill wrapped in cheese.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like trying to feed emotions and genuine feelings to these macho gearheads, like
Gosh.
wrapped in fast cars and stupid stunts.
Exactly.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, hey, look,
See that.
like you want to see a guy drive a fucking car through like 5 skyscrapers? Yeah, okay, but
Yeah.
like you gotta watch like people love each other and be nice to each other to get that.
To get it.
Take your fucking medicine, because Lord knows we need it. I think, like back in the day, it used to be like the norm for movies to be able to have like emotion in them without undercutting it with a joke. But for whatever reason, like our culture has become like poison to the point where nobody likes like sincerity anymore.
We don't want to feel things anymore. We're too sad for that, Heath.
Sincerity is cringe. Everything has to be fucking a funny,
It
laughing,
has to be
fucking goofing a
Yeah.
joke.
a goof, which I'm like, I like being a jokester most of the time, but then it's really, I don't know, it's really refreshing, and like it's a better balance to kind of have that, disconnected. What's going on?
A goof.
My voice keeps on getting disconnected. My bad.
Yeah, you cut out for a second. A goof and a gaff. And a laugh every once in a while is good. We love goofs, we love gaffs, we love laughs, we love jokes, we love tricks, we love ha-has, we love comedic moments. But we need you need some love in between. Okay, you need some friendship. You need some brothers. You need some familia. And this movie piles on the familia heavy. So we go to a funeral, right? We go to a funeral.
God, yeah.
Because Han is dead. And Deckard Shaw is. Thank you.
Dead.
Thank you. Yeah, Han is beautiful. Bravo. Magnifico. Han is dead. And they're like, let's not have any more dead people.
Easy. Okay.
No more dead. No more funerals, as
dead.
Roman
No
says.
more
I'm
dying.
tired of going to funerals. But they see, looking at, watching them is fucking Deckard Shaw. So Dom gets in his car and fucking chases him down, meets him in a tunnel, and they do car jousting. Now, we've had car jousting in this franchise before. There have been a few times where cars went right at each other. They were going to joust, but then they swerve or something else happens. But we finally get solid, real car jousting. They slam fucking right into each other. They hop out. Dom's going to fucking beat the shit out of Shaw. But then Shaw is like, actually, mate, I brought a gun. You see, you can use guns to fight. You don't got to use big hammers. And then Dom is like, oh man, I think I underestimated the situation. But then a bunch of soldiers show up and start shooting at Shaw, and he scurries away like a little rat. And who is leading these soldiers? But Mr. Kurt Russell. And he shows up in a slick black suit, and he's like, I'm Mr. Nobody, and I'm here to tell you what's going on. Come with me, and I'm going to help you get that guy. And Dom's like, all right, but do you have beer? And he's like, I do have beer. Come over and drink beer. So they go and they drink beer, and they have a joke about Corona, because Mr. Nobody doesn't like Corona. And then he pulls out a bucket of Corona for Dom, and you get to see the Corona logo, like it zooms in on it, which made me laugh, because it just kind of makes sense. Like, they drink Corona, so you got to get some good Corona product placement. I wonder how much they paid for that. But they're drinking some Corona, and he's like, check it out, Dom, we got this fucking thing. It's called God's Eye, and this fucking nerd made it. And what does it do? It lets you spy on literally everybody in the world using every single microphone and camera that exists. Mr. Nobody introduces us to, he says, look, we got this thing. It's called God's Eye. It's made by this fucking nerd. You got to go save this nerd. But what is this God's Eye thing? It's fucking mass surveillance program for the entire world that uses literally every single camera, microphone, anything that's connected to the internet. He presents it in such a palatable way. He's like, it took us 10 years to find Osama bin Laden, but with this, we could have found him in hours. And everybody's just like, all right, God's Eye is a good thing.
Yeah.
No, it's an invasion of privacy.
This is like this has been in a couple like big blockbusters of like the last 20 years, like post 9/11, like mass surveillance as like a tool, like that's good, or at least like necessary, has been like a thing. Because this is in The Dark Knight too, like basically the same idea, because he has like the sonar thing that he uses to find the Joker, and it's like a necessary evil, like he needs it. to find the criminal. And in this, it, like, the implication was like, it's a good thing because we could find people like Osama bin Laden. It's just fallen into the wrong hands, but it should be given back to the right hands, which is presumably the U.S. government.
Of course.
And
because
it's like,
we
no.
have such a good track record.
We have the moral compass.
Yeah.
And like, I don't like to be one of those people who like harps too much about the politics of a movie that is quite frankly like not really interested
I do.
in the politics that it implies, because they're not like intentionally being like pro mass surveillance. They just wrote in a thing, but they didn't think about what they were writing.
They didn't think,
and regardless of the intent, the movie is pro mass surveillance.
I've been saying this every episode. It's pro government, pro cop, pro mass surveillance. That's why I didn't like him. I've been saying this.
They are. I just don't like when a movie is like this and like it's very much not about its politics. Like I hate people who only view movies through the lens of like through a political lens, like through the lens of what is this implying politically. But in this case, it's like so egregious that I have to comment on it. Like, it's really bad. Like, mass surveillance is not good. In this movie being like, it's pretty good. Just give it to the good guys, the America, and we know what to do. We'll get Osama bin Laden. We'll get the bad guys. We will never use it against anybody who doesn't deserve it.
And that is literally not what would happen.
That's how you know this movie's a fantasy. The most unrealistic thing in this movie is not them driving cars. It's not like The Rock shooting a big minigun. It's the idea that like the US government would be benevolent with like an insane mass surveillance like program that can literally spy on anyone and track anybody at any time.
Yeah,
but like it's kind of a gross thing, and it's not just this movie. Like I said, it's in The Dark Knight, it's in other movies. It's weird that like we're suddenly like okay with this in our media. Like it's weird that like this has been a thing that has repeatedly happened. I don't know. I don't think normal people are okay with mass surveillance, but for whatever reason in the movies it's always presented as like an okay or a necessary evil thing, but not good.
If it's served in a way, if it's presented in a way that, like you said, is palatable, then like a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, I can see how that can be helpful. And a lot of the time I hear the mentality is like, oh, if you have nothing to hide, then what's the big deal? It's just like, it's my private fucking life. I don't want to.
Yeah, that was like,
you know?
I agree. That was like the big like war on terror, like early 2000s line. Like if you got nothing to fear, you got nothing to hide. And, you know, I'm sure like the implication when you're watching a movie like this is like, well, those are the good guys. They don't have anything to fear. And I'm a good guy, so I don't have anything to fear. This thing is only being used to fight the bad guys. And the bad guys, there's clear black and white. And those are the bad guys. And they're shooting missiles at the good guys. So I want the good guys to get the mass surveillance thing to find out where they are. But no.
But we're not the good guys.
No, I know. I'm just saying in the context of the movie, like it's not good.
It's silly.
If you take away anything from the Fast and the Furious movies, don't let it be mass surveillance is good. But mass surveillance aside, they're like, all right, well, we got to do this thing. You got to save Ramsey so we can get the thing. And Dom's like, why do I got to get this thing? And he's like, well, when you get the thing, you can use the thing to find the guy. And he's like, I want to find the guy so I can kill the guy. And he's like, all right, we'll get the thing. So they have another fun action sequence where they drop some cars out of planes. This is the first time we see cars fly, as foreshadowed earlier.
Last time.
Not the last, but certainly the first. And they drop down onto a road in the Caucasus, and they have a crazy action sequence with lots of guns, and it's pretty fun. Kind of makes my head hurt because it's a little loud, but it's overall, it's a good action sequence. There's lots of cars doing stuff, real cars doing real things.
Finally,
flipping around, bullets firing, fist pumping, and they save Ramsey, and it's a big reveal because who is Ramsey the hacker? It's not some ugly, fat, gross, pizza eating, soda drinking, pimple covered, fat nerd.
Why you say that?
Jesus. It's a sexy lady, everybody. How's a sexy lady a hacker? Ladies can't do things with their brain. They only do things with their boobs. What the hell's going on here?
This is accurate. We have no brains, only boobs.
Ladies only have boobs. They don't have brains. But they save Brain Lady.
I just want to
Say
note
brain
that
lady.
I love that this is, like the twist that it's like, oh, the
It's a
smart,
lady?
it's a woman, a smart woman, and she's behind all of this. It's just like that's your twist, that a woman is surprisingly intelligent.
Holy
It
shit.
is
The
the
lady
twist.
has brain, but also poop?
Amazing.
And they
But
highlight
also
this because
poop.
they save hot brain lady Ramsey, and they take her to a little dock by the sea or whatever, or by the bay, wherever the fuck they are. And Tej and Roman get into a conversation because they're like, how is lady smart but hot?
Hmm.
Smart people ugly.
Oh my
Should have
god.
pimple and be fat? But no,
But
hot.
glow up.
Uh,
But glowed.
So their Ramsey, hot, smart lady is like, I gave my thing to my friend, and we got to go get it. And they're like, where is it? Fucking Abu Dhabi. So we're going
Of course.
to the United Arab Emirates. And this also makes me laugh because this was another thing in like the mid 2010s. Like I feel like they were always going to the UAE. Like they were always either going to Abu Dhabi or Dubai, because the fourth Mission Impossible was a few years before this.
Yeah.
That's in Dubai. This is in Abu Dhabi. I think they go to Abu Dhabi in Sex and the City 2. I believe they-
What the? There's kind of random.
I believe they go to Abu Dhabi in that. They
Is that
ride some
adventure
camels.
film?
I remember the trailer for that. They go to Abu Dhabi. I think it's because Dubai was offering like tax credits to like film there,
Oh my god.
or the UAE was offering tax credits rather.
God.
Yeah, so they go to Abu Dhabi. They meet up with Ramsey's friend, and he's like, "Oh, I put the surveillance thingy. I sold it to somebody, and they put it in a car, or it was already in a car, and I sold a car to a rich Jordanian prince. So you got to go get it." Meanwhile, they're saying this hot nerd lady gets another gratuitous like slow-mo scene where she comes out of the water in a bikini and her boobs jiggle in slow motion while it plays sexy music, and Tej and Roman leer at her. And
As
say,
is
"Damn, she's
necessary,
really
thank
sexy."
you.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, it's 100% necessary because we got it in the last time, in number
Got it,
5.
one of
Remember?
them. Yeah.
In number 5, we had Giselle
number
Gal
3?
Gadot. She
Oh,
got to do
sorry.
sexy slow motion while the camera looked at her butt and her boobs. So in this one, we get another sexy slow motion with her boobs
Yeah,
jiggling
staple
and
piece.
her looking sexy covered in water. We gotta have that. You gotta have the camera look at the woman in the most objectifying way possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we don't have
Yeah.
gratuitous shots in a Fast and Furious movie, is it really a Fast and Furious movie?
Exactly.
No,
You
it
can't
makes
have a
me
Fast and
Fast and
Furious
Furious.
movie without it gives Paul a Fast and Furious fucking boner.
Oh my god.
You know who doesn't get a
but
phone?
fucking Ja Rule.
baby.
Oh man.
Ja Rule.
They should have put him in this movie. Maybe it would have cured his erectile dysfunction. I want the Ja Rule cut where he's sitting there with Roman and Tej, and they're like, oh man, she's so hot. And then Roman's like, hey, Tej, don't you have a normal boner right now? And he's like, why, yes, I do have an erection because that woman is attractive. Don't you also have an erection because you don't have an issue with getting erections? And he's like, yes, I do as well. What about you, Ja Rule? How's your erection doing? And then he's like, and he starts stuttering and sweating. And then they're like, you don't have an erection, do you, Ja Rule? And then he's like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And then they pull his pants down, and then the entire
Oh my
Fast
God.
family
It's
like
oh.
starts. They go in a circle around him, and they start pointing at him and laughing at him because he doesn't have an erection.
in that circle
Oh my
cam that
God.
like they use
Laughing
as, like,
at it. Yeah, they laugh at his weak, pathetic, flaccid penis.
Oh my god, bro. That's
Such
so
a pathetic man Ja
Oh
Rule
my
is. So
God.
pathetic. Just a pathetic waste.
Our,
Ja Rule, if you're listening to this, you're a
dude.
waste.
our bullying of
waste.
Ja Rule has
Bullying
escalated.
so hard. Oh my god.
I'm going to
Bad.
kill you, Ja
Oh
Rule.
my god.
Cut that out. Censor that one.
Yeah, I got
Censor
it.
that.
I think
Censor that.
Oh my
There we go.
Yeah, I don't know if we can
mention that.
threat celebrities like that.
Especially if you
I'm going Ja Rule. I'm going to Ja Rule. I'm going to kill you in Fortnite.
Oh my god. Oh, okay.
In Fortnite.
That works.
I'm going to kill you in Minecraft. So anyways, Ja Rule's not in this movie, but you know who is? Ronda Rousey. Because they go up to the penthouse where the car is at.
Mhm.
They do a whole bunch of stuff to get the thing. They have a big heist plan to get the car out of the thing. And Letty has to go do a thing, and she goes and does that thing. And who's standing in the way of her doing that thing? It's Ronda Rousey, the other big 2015 cameo, another woman who fell off the face of the earth because nobody likes her.
Mm-hmm.
She has
Wrestlers.
2 lines in this movie. I wrote down in my notes, Ronda Rousey has 2 lines in this movie, and she's still
Really wrote
the worst performance.
Oh my god.
She sucks.
2 lines. Oh,
There's a reason why
dry
she's
delivery. Yeah.
She's been like trying to be an actor, I think, because she was like she did mocap for like one of the new Mortal Kombat movies, and I think she's like been wanting to be and stuff. I think she's like making like maybe she might be making conservative movies with like Gina Carano and all those other freaks, but she sucks.
Yeah.
Why do they
sucks.
always go that route?
Because that's the
Got
only
it. That's
route
the
they
only-
have.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because they can't crack it in like regular culture, so
Yeah.
they have to go to like right wing grifter culture.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Freaks.
she sucks, and also she's a loser, and she lost, and she's not good at fighting, so nobody cares about you anymore, Ronda Rousey. Get out of here.
Hate you.
Speaking of getting out of here, who's getting out of here? Dom and Brian are getting out in their car, the fancy supercar with the God's Eye Master Vance thing in it. They drive the car through a bunch of fucking buildings. This was the big moment that was in the trailer. I remember because I didn't like these movies when this movie was coming out. Like I had only seen like maybe like 1, 2, and 3. I wasn't keeping up with them at the time. And I remember watching this trailer and being like, they drive a car through like a bunch of skyscrapers? It's fucking stupid. And then the first time I watched this movie, like I was like, that is fucking stupid. But it's also awesome.
No.
It's fucking sick.
Yes.
No.
Paul, you're so wrong. It's so fucking cool. They like
makes sense.
it's a fast
what is
car.
your
It goes
issue?
so fast. The brakes are broken, so they're driving through cars. They fucking drive it through one building,
No.
and then a fucking another building. They're hitting a bunch of terracotta soldiers. They drive it through a fucking another building. 3 skyscrapers. Fucking Brian is like, cars don't fly. We get a fucking callback. Like I said, foreshadowing. But now they do. It's not flying like Toy Story. It's fucking falling with style. They fall with style from building to building to building. They fucking get the God's Eye out of the car. They fucking jump out of the car at the last second as the car goes flying out of the beautiful fucking
Absolutely.
Abu Dhabi skyscraper.
Hate
It's
it.
fucking sick.
And
It's fucking
miraculously,
sick.
through all of these crashes, the car doesn't blow up once,
Not
It doesn't
once.
blow up, and they're fine.
and they're totally fine.
And it's fucking awesome. And Paul, I don't want to hear you say shit about it. It's
It-
fucking rad.
No, okay, it is. No, it is. But I'm just like, I want realism sometimes because they had a real
Why?
emotional moment. They had a real
Fuck
emotional
realism.
moment. So I'm like, all right. So give me more reality.
That's the
in this.
beauty of
Give
this
me
franchise. That's what we were talking about. We get that real, sincere emotion, but mixed in with actual fucking just beyond
that
absurd
don't
action.
work.
That's
I
what
don't-
makes this movie so. That's what makes these movies so genius.
I don't want to see real life car crashes because we see real life car crashes all the time. Speaking of real life car crashes, skirt. I saw a car flip over today.
Oh,
I thought you were going to talk about Paul Walker when you said that.
Oh no! Oh no!
No, but like,
That's
no, for real. I saw a car flip over today. It was a sedan. It was really scary. It happened in front of me.
That's
oh my
fucking
god! Like
cool.
literally. Oh my god!
One
Yeah.
time in high school, I knew this guy who almost died in a car accident because he like fell asleep on the road and like slammed into the back of like a big rig truck, and it like ripped the entire like top of his car off, and it was like an inch away from
God.
ripping his head off.
Oh my
Holy
god!
shit.
I feel so.
But because he
scared.
didn't die, it makes it really cool that
Oh,
happened.
true. 'Cause,
So,
he
like-
almost died, but he didn't.
Real life car accidents and like real life shit happens all the time. And we see these things happen all the time. So, like, I don't go to the movies to see a car accident be realistic. I want to see stupid stunts.
Exactly. Fuck realism, Paul. You don't know what you're talking about.
God.
Go back to Gecko Land, Iguana Land, you fool.
I'm
We want to
trying.
see.
My
we want to
metaphors.
see. We wanna
Cars
see
crashing through
drive-
skyscrapers.
Exactly. That's what we want, baby. So they get the thing. They get the
They got the
gross,
thing. They got it.
mass surveillance thing, and they're like,
Mhm.
all right, we can find Shaw. He's in an old abandoned factory. Definitely not sus at all. Let's go get him. So they go to get him, and immediately he's like, do you think I'm fucking stupid? I knew you were gonna come get me. I got a grenade and like a bunch of guys. Jaimin Hansu's in this movie. Jaimin Hansu, who I like. He was, the guy in Guardians of the Galaxy who doesn't know who Star-Lord is. He played one of the Fish Kings in Aquaman. He was in Shazam. Good actor. I like him. And he's in this movie for like a little bit. He doesn't really have a character. He's just like a villain who wants to blow them up because he wants God's eye or whatever. But he's cool. And he helps out Deckard Shaw. They get a bunch of guys. They have a firefight.
Love it.
Mr. Nobody gets shot, but he's okay because he has a bulletproof vest. Shaw gets away. They have the God's Eye, and then they're like, all right, well, we got to go. They get the God's Eye, so they have an advantage. So we got to go fight him on our home turf. We're going back to Los Angeles, baby. We're going to fight him in Los Angeles, and we're going to get God's Eye back. So they go back to LA, and they got their plan. They're gonna hack God's Eye. They got to be within a 2-mile radius. They're gonna hack God's Eye. Meanwhile, Jaimin Hansu is chasing after them with like a drone and a helicopter, trying to blow them up so they can't hack God's Eye. They're playing mystery car. They're going back and forth in different cars, doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Meanwhile, Vin Diesel, Dom, he's going after Shaw. They meet up on the top of a parking garage, and they do another car jousting, and then they get out. And earlier in the movie, when they do their first car jousting, Shaw says something along the lines of, "Thought this is going to be a street fight," when he pulls out his gun. Dom echoes that. Here he says, "You thought this was going to be a street fight? It is." And fucking, for the first and only time in this franchise, like operatic, like orchestral, like fucking, like Latin, like opera music starts playing,
which is awesome. I love that.
It's fucking rad. And they fucking start fighting with like crowbars or whatever, like they're fucking dual wielding swords. Exactly. It's like the fucking Duel of Fates from Phantom Menace. This fucking operatic music is playing as like fucking Shaw and Dom are like having this epic battle on the top of a parking garage. It's fucking incredible.
Need it. I love. That's why I'm like, all right, this is the unrealistic thing I want. Yes,
it's fucking badass. And then you get Brian. Brian's doing something. He like slides and like shoots a bunch of guys because he's going to like turn on a transmitter or whatever so they can get the signal to hack the thing. He fucking gets in a kung fu fight with a guy. He does the thing. Meanwhile, the fucking drone is still shooting missiles, but not for long, because fucking Hobbs, who's been out of commission the whole movie in the hospital, fucking sees the shit on the news. He breaks his cast. He's like, I'm going to do this. He steals an ambulance. He fucking crashes the ambulance into the drone, destroying it. And then he picks up a minigun, like Halo style, where you rip a minigun off like the mount and fucking picks it up. And then he goes and like shoots at the helicopter with the fucking minigun and like fucks up the helicopter.
Easy, like no big deal.
The helicopter, meanwhile, also shoots missiles at fucking Dom and Shaw while they're fighting, because Jaimin Hansu doesn't give a fuck about Shaw. It's just, they're not friends or whatever. He just wants the thing. So the parking garage is all cracked. Dom fucking does like a Hulk smash, like with his foot, like slams on the ground with his foot, causing the earth beneath them to cave in, and Shaw gets swallowed up in rubble. And then Dom gets in his car. He grabs grenades that Shaw brought. He gets in his car. He's outrunning the collapse of the parking garage in his car. Like he's like the building is collapsing behind him as he's driving. He fucking drives up a ramp. Once again, cars are flying. Fucking puts a grenade into the thing.
Love it.
Blows up the helicopter.
Yes.
Fucking, he's out of the car. We think he's dead. He's like, everybody's crying. We get another beautiful, sincere moment where Letty tells him that she remembers everything in their life. He wakes up. He says, it's about time. And everything is resolved. Shaw's still alive, though. Shaw gets taken to jail, to maximum security, a CIA black site by Hobbs. Hobbs says if he gets out, he's gonna beat his ass. Everything is resolved. We're here. We're on the beach, and this is the big moment of this movie, and this is why this movie was the biggest of this franchise. They're fucking on the beach, and they're watching. They're watching Brian play with his baby and Mia, and they're all just watching him, and they're commenting on it, and they're like saying shit like things are gonna be different now. It like this moment
there to be different. Oh, sorry.
No. This scene like walks right up to the line of like fucking almost breaking the fourth wall, like almost just straight up acknowledging that Paul Walker has died, because this movie, like he died in the middle of production, so they had only filmed like half of his stuff, and obviously famously they had to shoot a bunch of it using his brothers and like CGIing his face, and they had to do rewrites around his death, and I'm sure that this was one of them. But it's like this is the most sincere movie in a film full of like heartfelt, sincere moments. This is the most sincere. And Dom gets up and drives away. He's leaving. They're like, "What are you leaving without saying goodbye?" But they all acknowledge that something's different. They basically they don't come right out and say it, but they basically acknowledge that Paul Walker has passed away tragically at such a young age. Dom drives away, and you get those fucking piano notes like dun 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 da 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 dun 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 from "See You Again," the song, the Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth song that they made for this movie. That was a huge song, and I'm not gonna lie, every time I watch the scene, especially when that music kicks in, not to sound like a fucking nerd, but it kind of gives me goosebumps, and I teared up a little bit.
You're a fucking nerd.
This is nerd.
I'm a fucking nerd. I teared up a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm a huge pussy, but I tear up a little bit. It's really effective. Like emotionally, it's really effective. And it's sad when anyone dies, but I wasn't like a big Paul Walker fan or whatever. Like, but it's just the way they do it. There have been a few properties where they've had to do something similar like this. Obviously, the last 2 Star Wars movies, Carrie Fisher passed away, and they had to recreate her and sort of eulogize her in the last movie. The Sopranos, famously, like Tony's mother passed away in the middle of filming. What was it? I think the 3rd season, and so they had to digitally recreate her. But this is like the best example I can find of like them dealing a big movie or a big media thing dealing with the death of one of its main stars, because like it's done very well. Like visually, like it looks a little off because obviously it's never going to look 100% like the CGI,
right?
But like it looks pretty good, and just the way they handle it emotionally, it's very effective. I mean, do you guys have anything to say about this? Like, this is like the big moment in this movie.
Yeah, no, I think that it was respectfully done, given I think the technology and the resources that they had, and they just really wanted to give the fans like that last moment of, you know, like, oh, or you thought that
you could say goodbye.
Yeah, and that's like the big thing. So that music starts playing, like you hear Charlie Puth, like the piano keys, and then, you know, he's saying, "I'll see you again" or whatever. Dom fucking stops. He pulls up at a stop sign or whatever. Brian pulls up next to him, looks over and says, "Thought you could leave without saying goodbye?" As like the music swells in that song, and then they fucking Dom is talking about like, I always said I lived my life a quarter mile at the time. He's narrating. I'm sobbing. Wiz Khalifa is rapping. They're driving away. And it's fucking beautiful. We get like a montage of like Paul Walker in all the movies. Like we see him as Charlie Puth is singing and Wiz Khalifa's rapping.
It's basically Dom reliving his memories with Brian, right?
Yeah, it's exactly in like the context of the movie. It's like him thinking about Brian, but that's what I'm saying. It like almost breaks the fourth wall because it almost just is like a straight up like eulogy for Paul Walker.
Yeah, I think it's kind of intended to be a memorial for Paul Walker, but also equally as much a montage of Dom's memories with him.
Right.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm just saying, like, I think it's really interesting, like, how close they toe the line of, like, just straight up, like, saying Paul Walker is dead, like, acknowledging.
Like, IRL. Like, they did the same thing with, in the Marvel movies, like, when someone passed away, right?
I think so. Well, they have them in Star Wars when Carrie Fisher or whatever, her character lays down, Leia, and passes away. But like I said, this is like, I don't know. For me, this is like the best one.
But then at the end, doesn't it read for Paul?
Yeah, no, it does. That's what I was going to say, because he drives away, they drive away, and he like drives away into a beautiful like scenic landscape with like the sun shining, and it fades to white. Like it literally fades into Paul Walker being in heaven and reads for Paul. And at that point, I'm dripping tears. Like I'm just sobbing completely.
Straight up bawling.
Literally bawling, like fucking sobbing. I don't like that song very much. Like it's not a great song, but in the context of like this movie,
the way that they use it is so effective, and it
really is. And
like that music swell, like that really hurts.
Yeah, and like I said, the fucking piano keys, like the way the song intros right at the beginning, like the soft, like, oh my god, it's such an effective use of like pop music. One of the most effective uses of pop music, like to emotional effect, I can think of in a modern like blockbuster. And the movie ends with Paul Walker driving off into the sunset. Brian O'Connor driving off into the sunset. He's passed away. He's
done.
And the character in the film is going off to live a better life with his beautiful wife Mia and his children. And Paul Walker is living a better life in heaven, presumably, or wherever he is.
You mean the actual actor?
Yeah.
Yeah, the actor himself is dead, but like the character goes off to do his own thing.
But he's in heaven.
Yeah, I mean,
well.
it's just, I mean, it was a tribute for the fans and for everyone to kind of get that closure.
Very beautiful. It had to happen. It's very beautiful. And they handled it very respectfully, very nice. Like I said, I'm sobbing. Paul's sobbing. Eve, are you sobbing?
I am not currently sobbing, but I was sobbing.
There we
I
go.
don't want to ruin it, but I'm not sobbing.
What the Paul? What are you?
I'm not sobbing to that one.
I mean, honestly, just talking about the scene makes me a little emotional, but
Paul, you're not crying for your namesake? He's another Paul.
Wow, Paul, wait, what are we going to do with you?
This is fucked up, dude.
He doesn't even like these movies.
No, they're growing on me.
You can't talk bad about this.
It's humor.
You have to cry.
No,
it's sad.
Because the thing is, like, I didn't really like grow into these movies, so I'm seeing it for the first time. So I'm growing attachment. It's almost like if someone saw Star Wars for the first time and they're like, "Oh, this just happened," and I'm like, I'm like, that sucks. But like in the moment, it's like Paul Walker's death was very fresh when this movie came out. So obviously, of course, like there's attachment there.
It's gonna hit me every time. Even like I said, I don't even like. I wasn't a big Paul Walker fan. It didn't like when he died. I was just like, oh, that guy from Fast and the Furious died. But like. Just the way they handle it with the combination of the music. I mean, it's flat out emotional manipulation, but fuck if it isn't effective, at least for me and clearly for Eve. Paul, maybe you just don't have a soul.
I doubt it. Yeah.
Maybe you just don't. Maybe you're just a sociopath and you don't care about other people.
I think his soul just left his body after he took shrooms.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about that? You're over here fucking talking about iguanas. Meanwhile, me and Eve are crying looking at Paul Walker drive off into the sunset, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, they're definitely the spiritual companion. I'm not saying there's a spirit in me, but I'm like, hey, if I did have one, it'd be.
Well, my spiritual companion is Paul Walker. And speaking of Paul Walker and his death,
oh my god,
his death propelled this movie because I think we're done talking about the movie proper. Well, let's go. Good movie, great movie, best movie. Question mark?
Okay. Oh yeah. Are we rating them as of date?
Just tell me good movie, great movie, best movie, question mark.
Best movie.
Best movie?
Best movie.
There we go. Paul, good movie, great movie, best movie, question mark?
Yeah, definitely best movie so far. Yeah.
Okay. And I agree. I would also
Definitely.
be best movie, no question mark, exclamation point. And audiences agreed because this movie was fucking huge in a year that was already huge for movies. Fast and the Furious up until this point had, I would say, been a B tier franchise. It was one of Universal's big hitters, but 5 and 6, they both grossed pretty good. They were both in the top 10 for their years, but they weren't billion-dollar franchises. I would put it more in the Mission Impossible realm, $600-700 million, respectable earnings, certainly not anything to scoff at, but they're not doing Star Wars money. They're not doing Marvel money. They're not doing Minions money.
No, definitely not Minions money.
Definitely not Minions money. They're not doing.
Minions.
But in 2015, this fucking movie did mega Minions money in a year that was huge. At the time, this movie had, I think, the third largest opening weekend of all time. It opened to like $397 million worldwide.
Holy shit! Opened?
It was a lot. Yeah.
Yes, opening weekend was $397 million worldwide.
Yeah.
Wow.
This movie was fucking huge.
It's
unbelievable.
Really well. Yeah.
Like bigger than any of them, like by a fucking considerable margin. Because I think 6 did like 680 million total, like over the entirety of its gross. So for this one to make almost $400 million opening weekend is a huge boost. And obviously, all of that, like I don't think it's ridiculous to say this. All of that was pretty much the publicity that came from this being like the last film with Paul Walker. Like the wake of Paul Walker's death definitely propelled this movie.
Yeah, and Heath, I think I remember you told us a story about you had like come out of the theater and there was a woman crying.
That wasn't me. I didn't see this movie in the theaters, unfortunately, but that is an interesting story.
Someone told me this story that they were walking out of the theater after this movie and there was a woman crying and they were like, oh, what's wrong? And she's like, there's never going to be another one like him.
I believe that because I knew a friend of mine's mother was like emotionally destroyed by Paul Walker's death, and like even still mentioning it like makes her sad. So it was a big deal and it propelled this movie to huge numbers. This movie came out in 2015. Do you guys remember what else came out in 2015? Because this was a fucking big year.
What came out? Wait, what came out?
That was 7 years ago. I don't know.
Oh, I know what came out. Hold on. No, by memory. The Avengers, Titanic.
That's right. Not Titanic.
I'm sorry, Avengers Endgame.
No. It was one of the Avengers.
The Force Awakens.
I'll let you know. That's one. I'll let you know. So this movie was the third biggest movie of 2015. Right. 2015 was a massive year. This movie made $1.5 billion worldwide. 1.515 billion. A fucking huge sum of money. I think at the time it was like the fourth highest grossing movie of all time. Like when it came out, it immediately lost that spot, obviously, because other big movies came out. But this was a huge movie. But this year was fucking huge. I think this might be one of the biggest years for movies, if not like, it's not the biggest, but it's definitely in like top 3. So number 4 was fucking Avengers Age of Ultron, which did 1.4 billion. Furious 7 was number 3. It did 1.5 billion. Jurassic World did 1.67 billion. And then Force Awakens also came out and fucking did $2 billion. 4 massive movies of basically the 4 biggest franchises that currently exist in Hollywood all came out in fucking 2015 and made bucket loads of money. It is insane.
Industry was,
wow.
That was the height of the industry of the 10s. Like,
what honestly, a good year for movies.
Yeah, seriously, that movie
definitely for big budget movies, like a big, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, out of those 4 movies, the ones I listed, the top 4 highest grossing movies of 2015, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret.
Yes.
Furious 7 is the best of them.
Better than Rogue One?
Rogue One was 2016. This was Force Awakens year. It's better than Force Awakens.
No,
it's much better than Avengers Age of Ultron.
Bro, Force Awakens was like a monumental like step it back into the universe. Like
Force Awakens was a fine movie. Force Awakens does nothing for me compared to Furious 7.
Okay, we're not going to get into this right now.
Furious 7. The biggest movie, the best movie in a big year for big movies. It is currently. Let's see where it's standing right now. Because there have been some big movies since then, but it is still the 9th highest grossing movie of all time. It is in the top 10 still. It's fucking
still is, yeah.
It was massive on a scale that this franchise hadn't seen, and like it upped the scale. I talked about 5 as being a transformative movie for this franchise. This is another transformative movie because like 5 was a jump up in scale, and then this one was an even bigger jump up, and we're following through with that because 8 was huge. 8 made over $1 billion. Hobbs and Shaw was just a spinoff, but it still made like 700 or 800 million. I'm sure Fast 9 is about to be like the first really big movie of like COVID times, but this movie is the one that did it all, and it's kind of darkly like ironic and sad in a way that like what propelled these movies to being like arguably one of the 3 biggest Hollywood franchises currently running is the death of its leading man,
which kind of sucks in their case, but then also it brought stuff in.
It does suck, and it's sad that that's what propelled this movie to be as huge and what has propelled this franchise to be even bigger. But I just think I just like looking at the numbers and looking at that year, it fucking blew me away that it was like, wow, all those came out in 2015. Like, fuck, what a fucking huge year.
Yeah, that was a big year.
Furious 7, big movie. And according to all of us, best movie.
When Heath came back in, there's like a complete vibe check. He's like kind of somber. He's like, yeah, it's a good movie, I guess. Yeah.
All right, no, come on, hold on, give me a minute. I love these movies. I'm back. So yeah, Furious 7. If you guys can't tell, we're gonna cut here because we had a detour. That's why I sound so weird. But Furious 7, as we've all agreed, best movie. Next week, we have not. My bad. Next week, actually, I think we have a double episode, right? Because we're behind schedule.
We do. Is that correct? And some bonus episodes for Patreons, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, we are making a Patreon at some point soon, and we're going to have bonus episodes there if you guys are interested. We're going to do some Eve's Choice. Let me get a ding.
My bad.
We're going to do some Paul's Picks. and we're gonna do a Fast and the Furious related movie on there that I don't want to spoil, but I think we're gonna do that. But next week,
I feel like Eve's Choice sounds like a poorly branded like cheese or something.
I thought you were gonna go with. It sounds like a remake of Sophie's Choice, the movie where the woman has to like choose between her children or whatever, or like, is it about having an abortion? I've never seen that movie.
No, I think Eve's Choice just sounds like a really bad brand. You know what I mean? It's like a generic brand that you would find at the grocery store.
I get you. Yeah, it does. Eve's Choice brand cheese. It's like Kirkland's Signature.
Yeah, I'm Kirkland's Signature.
If you think about it, you're the Kirkland Signature of human beings.
Am I that generic?
You're not generic. Oh my god! Wait, the way you said that, Heath.
Wait, that's Eve's new nickname, the Kirkland Signature.
Oh god! I
From
brought
this
this
day
on
forth,
myself.
I dub thee, Eve Chen, the Kirkland Signature.
Oh wait, I have the noise for that.
Found at your local Costco.
You are the Kirkland Signature. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Beautiful sounds today. Speaking of beautiful sounds, we're going to have some beautiful sounds next week, like I said, when we do our double episode, because we've got 2 movies we got to talk about in anticipation of F9's release. We're going to be talking Fast 8.
Oh yeah, that was the right song.
And we're also going to be talking Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. So look out for those whenever they come out. Presumably the week after this episode comes out. Speaking of this episode, if you're listening right now, Paul, give me the outro music, my king. Remember to like us, follow us, subscribe to it, rate us, give us 5-star ratings. Follow us on Twitter at GottaWatchPod. Send all your hate mail to anything that I may have said or Paul may have said or E may have said that you didn't like to Eve. I will be listing their email in the description. So remember to send them all the hate mail you want.
Thank you.
No.
Have a nice morning, evening, noon, or night, whatever time it is you're listening to this episode. And salud mi familia. Do you guys have anything you want to say before we cut this off?
Don't send me any emails. Do not contact me. Do not hear me. Do not see me. I do not wish to be perceived.
We're gonna go ahead and leave their address so you guys can send them mail in the in the description.
Fruit by the foot only, exclusively.
And with that, I believe we're calling this a wrap on episode 7, Pod 7. Bye bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.